Hello everyone. In today's video lecture, we are going to discuss about what is network security. Then after that, we are going to study here the network privacy. Then after that, digital signature, and in last, we will see the PGP. Okay. So let us start with the first point, that is network security. So here, the computer network security consists of measures taken by business or some organizations to monitor and prevent unauthorized access from the outside attackers. So the different approaches to computer network security management have different requirement which is depending on the size of the computer network. For example, a home office require a basic network security while large businesses require high maintenance to prevent the network from the malicious attacks. So the network administrator control access to the data and software on the network. So this network administrator assigns the user ID and password to the authorized person. So let us see what is the aspects of network security. So following are the desirable properties to achieve secure communication. So the first, privacy is there. Second, message integrity. Third is authentication, and fourth is non-repudiation. So these are four aspects of network security. Let us see first privacy. So this privacy means here both the sender and the receiver expects confidentiality. So the transmitted message should be sent only to the intended receiver, while the message should be opaque for other users. So only the sender and receiver should be able to understand the transmitted message as it can intercept the message. So therefore there is a requirement to encrypt the message so that the message cannot be intercepted. So here this aspect of confidentiality is commonly used to achieve secure communication. That is nothing but what? Privacy. Second aspect of network security is there, that is message integrity. So here data integrity means what? Here the data must arrive at the receiver exactly as it was sent. So there must be no changes in the data content during transmission, either maliciously or the accident in a transit. So as there are more and more monetary exchanges over the internet, here the data integrity is more crucial. So the data integrity must be preserved for the secure communication. Then third type of aspect is there, that is authentication. That is we can say endpoint authentication. So authentication means that the receiver is sure of the sender's identity, that is no imposter has sent the message. Then last aspect of network security is there, that is non-repudiation. So here this non-repudiation means here the receiver must be able to prove that the received message has come from a specific sender. So this sender must not deny the sending a message that he or she sent. Okay, so here the burden of providing the identity comes on the receiver. For example, if a customer send a request to transfer the money from one account to another account, then here the bank must have a proof that the customer has requested for the transaction. Okay, so these are the four aspects of network security. The first is privacy, then second is message integrity, third is authentication, and last is non-repudiation. Okay, then after that let us move towards the privacy. So here the concept of privacy is here how to achieve privacy has not been changed for thousands of years. Here the message cannot be encrypted. The message must be rendered as opaque to all unauthorized parties. So a good encryption and decryption technique is used to achieve privacy to some extent. So this technique ensures that here the message cannot understand the content, or we can say here the privacy consists of encryption as well as decryption. So here encryption means what? Here encryption means the sender converts the original information into another form and sends the unintelligible message over the network. Okay, this is nothing but what? Encryption. Then second is decryption. So this decryption reverses the encryption process in order to transform the message back to the original form. So the data which is to be encrypted at the sender side is known as plain text, and the encrypted data is known as ciphertext. So here the data is decrypted at the receiver side. Okay, so there are basically two types of encryption and decryption techniques. The first is privacy with secret key encryption decryption, and second is privacy with public key encryption decryption. Okay, so let us see first secret key encryption decryption technique. So here in a secret key encryption decryption technique, here the same key is used by both the parties, that is at the sender as well as the receiver side. So the sender uses the secret key and encryption algorithm to encrypt the data, and the receiver uses this key and decryption algorithm to decrypt the data. So in secret key, what happened? Here in a secret key encryption decryption technique, the algorithm used for encryption is the inverse of the algorithm used for decryption. It means that here if the encryption algorithm uses a combination of addition and multiplication, then at the decryption side, the decryption algorithm uses the combination of subtraction and division. Okay, so here the secret key encryption algorithm is also known as symmetric encryption algorithm, because the same secret key is used in bidirectional communication. Then after that, in a secret key encryption decryption algorithm, the secret code is used by the computer to encrypt the information before it is sent over the network to another computer. Then this secret key also requires that we should know which computers are talking to each other, so that we can install the key on each computer. Okay, so let us see what is meant by DES, that is a data encryption standard. So basically this data encryption standard was designed by IBM and which is adopted by the US government as the standard encryption method for non-military and non-classified use. So this data encryption standard is a standard which is used for encryption, and it is a form of secret key cryptography. So let us see what are the advantages of DES, that is data encryption standard. The first advantage is that efficient. The first is efficiency. So the secret key algorithms are more efficient as it takes less time to encrypt the message than to encrypt the message by using the public key encryption algorithm. The reason for this is that the size of the key is very small, and due to this reason the secret key algorithms are mainly used for encryption and decryption. Then let us see what is the disadvantages of secret key encryption. So here the each pair of users must have a secret key. Okay, so if the number of people wants to use this method in the world is n, then there are n into n minus 1 divided by 2 secret keys. For example, for 1 million people, then there are 500 million secret keys. Okay, so the distribution of keys among the different parties can be very difficult. So this problem can be resolved by combining the secret key encryption decryption with the public key encryption decryption algorithm. So let us move toward the second type of technique, that is public key encryption decryption technique. In that there are two keys in public key encryption. First is private key and second is public key. Okay, so the private key is given to the receiver while the public key is provided to the public. So in the above figure we can see A is sending the message to user B, and A uses the public key to encrypt the data while this B uses the private key to decrypt the data. So here in public key encryption decryption, the public key is used by the sender is different from the private key used by the receiver. So the public key is available to the public while the private key is kept by each individual. So the most commonly used public key algorithm is known as RSA. Okay, let us see what are the advantages of this public key encryption. So the main restriction of private key encryption is the sharing of secret key. So here a third party cannot use this key. In public key encryption, each entity creates a pair of keys and they keep the private one and distribute the public key. Okay, so the number of keys in a public key encryption is reduced tremendously. For example, for 1 million users to communicate, only 2 million keys are required. Okay, so not a half billion keys as in the case of secret key encryption. So this is advantage of public key encryption. Then after that, let us see what is disadvantage of public key encryption. So the first disadvantage is about the speed. So one of the major disadvantage of the public key encryption is that it is slower than secret key encryption. Here in secret key encryption, a single shared key is used to encrypt and decrypt the message, which speed up the process, while in public key encryption. So different two keys are used, both related to each other by the complex mathematical process. So that's why here we can say that encryption and decryption take more time in public key encryption. Second disadvantage is that authentication. So here a public key encryption does not have a built-in authentication. So without authentication, the message can be interpreted or intercepted without the user's knowledge. Okay. Then third disadvantage is that it is inefficient. The main disadvantage of the public key is its complexity. So here if you want the method to be effective, the large numbers are needed. But in public key encryption, converting the plain text into ciphertext using long keys takes a lot of time. So therefore, the public key encryption algorithms are efficient for short messages, not for long messages. Okay. So these are some disadvantages of public key encryption. First is due to speed, second is due to authentication, and third, it is an inefficient system. Okay. So these are three disadvantages of public key encryption. Then let us see the difference between key encryption and public key encryption. First, we will see here definition. So first, secret key encryption is defined as it is a technique that uses the single shared key to encrypt and decrypt the message, and public key encryption is defined as it is the technique that uses two different keys for encryption as well as decryption purpose. Second point is efficiency. So the secret key encryption is more efficient as this technique is recommended for a large amount of text, and for public key encryption it is inefficient as this technique is used only for the short messages. Third, this secret key encryption is also known as symmetric key encryption, and the public key encryption is also known as asymmetric key encryption. Then next point is about the speed. As we know that the speed of secret key encryption is high as it uses a single key for encryption and decryption, and the speed of public key encryption is slow. It uses two different keys. Both keys are related to each other through the complicated mathematical process. Then next point is algorithms. The secret key algorithm uses DES, 3DES, AES and RCA, and the public key algorithms uses Hellman and RSA. Okay, so these are algorithms which are used by the public key algorithm. Then in the last point, we will see here what is the purpose of secret key encryption. So the main purpose of the secret key algorithm is to transmit the bulk data, and the purpose of public key encryption is to share the keys securely. Okay, so these are some points regarding with the secret key encryption and for public key encryption. After that, let us see the second point, digital signature. So basically, the digital signature is a technique which is used to validate the authenticity and integrity of the message. So we know that there are four aspects of security. The first is privacy, second is authentication, third is integrity, and fourth is non-repudiation. So we have already discussed the first aspect of security, and other three aspects can be achieved by using the digital signature. So the basic idea behind the digital signature is to sign a document. So when we send a document electronically, we can also sign it. So we can sign a document in two ways: to sign a whole document and to sign a digest. So let us see first signing the whole document. So basically in digital signature, the public key encryption technique is used to sign the document. So however, the role of this public key and private key are different here. So here the sender uses the private key to encrypt the message, while the receiver uses the public key of the sender to decrypt the message. So in digital signature, the private key is used for encryption, while the public key is used for decryption purpose. So this digital signature cannot be achieved by using the secret key encryption. Okay. So here this digital signature is used to achieve the following aspects. The first aspect is integrity. So here the digital signature preserves the integrity of a message, because if any malicious attacks intercept a message and partially or totally changes it, then the decrypted message would be impossible. Second aspect is authentication. We can use the following reasoning to show how the message is authenticated. If an intruder, that is user X, sends a message pretending that it is coming from someone else, that is user A, and user X uses her own private key to encrypt the message, then here the message is decrypted by using the public key of user A. So therefore this makes the message unreadable. So encryption with X private key and decryption with A's public key results in garbage value. Okay, so that's why authentication is the important aspect. Then third is the non-reputation. Digital signature also provide the non-reputation. If the sender denies the sending the message, then her private key corresponding to her public key is tested on the plain text. If the decrypted message is the same as the original message, then we know that the sender has sent the message. Okay, so let us see second is signing the digest. So here the public key encryption is efficient if the message is short, and if the message is long, the public key encryption is inefficient to use. So the solution of this problem is to let the sender sign a digest of the document instead of the whole document. So the sender creates the miniature version, that is digest of the document, and then sign it. So the receiver checks the signature of the miniature version. So here the hash function is used to create the digest of the message. So this hash function creates the fixed size digest from the variable length message. So there are two most common hash function used. First is MD5, that is message digest 5, and SHA, that is secure hash algorithm first. And the first one produces 120-bit digest, while the second one produces the 160-bit digest. Okay, so this hash function must have two properties. The first is the digest must be one way. That means the digest can only be created from the message but not vice versa. And second is here the hashing is a one-to-one function. That is, two messages should not create the same digest. Okay, so these are two properties of hash function. First is the digest must be a one way, and second is hashing is a one-to-one function. Okay, then after that let us see what are the steps which are taken to ensure security. The first step is that here the miniature version or the digest of the message is created by using a hash function. Second step is the digest is encrypted by using the sender's private key. Third, after the digest is encrypted, then the encrypted digest is attached to the original message and sent to the receiver side. And last step is the receiver receives the original message and encrypted digest and separates the two. So the receiver implements the hash function on the original message to create the second digest, and it also decrypts the receiver digest by using the public key of the sender. So if both the digests are same, then all the aspects of security are preserved. Okay, so here at this diagram we can see at the sender side, this is the sender side, we can see in this figure, and the second diagram is for the at the receiver side. Okay, this is at the receiver side. Then after that we will see here the last point, that is PGP. Basically this PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy, which is invented by Phil Zimmermann. Okay, so this PGP was designed to provide all four aspects of security. First is privacy, second is integrity, third is authentication, and last is non-repudiation in the sending of email. Okay, so this PGP uses a digital signature, that is a combination of hashing and public key encryption, which is basically used to provide integrity, authentication, and non-repudiation. So this PGP uses the combination of secret key encryption and public key encryption to provide privacy. So therefore we can say that the digital signature uses one hash function, one secret key, and two private public key pairs. Okay, so this PGP is an open source and freely available software package for email security. So this PGP provides authentication through the use of digital signature, and it also provides the confidentiality through the use of symmetric block encryption, and it will also provide the compression by using the ZIP algorithm and email compatibility using the Radix 64 encoding scheme. Okay, so this is nothing but PGP, that is Pretty Good Privacy. Then after that let us see some steps which are taken by the PGP to create the secure email at the sender side. Okay, so the first step is that the email message is hashed by using a hashing function to create the digest. Second is the digest is then encrypted to form a signed digest by using the sender's private key, and then signed digest is added to the original email message. Third step is the original message and signed digest are encrypted by using a one-time secret key created by the sender. Then fourth step is the secret key is encrypted by using the receiver's public key. And last is here both the encrypted secret key and encrypted combination of message and digest are sent together. So here we can see this is the PGP sender side. Okay, so here again there are some steps which are taken to show how PGP uses hashing and a combination of three keys to generate the original message. Okay, and after that let us see here, this is PGP at the receiver side. Okay, so here last point is disadvantages of PGP encryption. So there are certain disadvantages of PGP. The first is the administration is difficult. Here the different versions of PGP complicate the administration. Second disadvantage is that compatibility issues. Here both the sender and the receiver must have compatible versions of a PGP. For example, if you encrypt an email by using PGP with one of the encryption technique, then the receiver has a different version of PGP which cannot read the data. Okay, so that's why there is a compatibility issues. Third disadvantage is that due to complexity. So PGP is a complex technique. Okay, so here other security schemes use symmetric encryption that uses one key, or the asymmetric encryption that uses two different keys. So basically this PGP uses a hybrid approach. So that implements symmetric encryption with two keys. So that's why this PGP is more complex and it is less familiar than the traditional symmetric or the asymmetric methods. Then last point is no recovery. That means the computer administrator face the problems of losing their passwords. Okay, so here in such situation an administrator should use the special program to retrieve passwords. For example, a technician has a physical access to a PC which can be used to retrieve a password. So however, the PGP does not offer such a special program for recovery. So encryption methods are very strong, so it does not retrieve the forgotten password, resulting in lost messages or lost files. Okay, so these are four disadvantages of PGP encryption. The first is the administration is difficult. Second is compatibility issue. third is it is more complex, and last is no recovery. So these are some disadvantages of PGP encryption. So this is all about our today's session. I hope you will like and enjoy. We will stop here with motivational quote. Today's motivational quote for you is, the best project you will ever work on is you. Thank you for watching my videos. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.